Hey fam, let's roll and let's chat. Ladies, my dear sisters and daughters, I want to chit chat with you a little bit. I talk to us a lot because I am you. So I always have conversation and information and wisdom to share as a female, from the female perspective. And what I wanted to talk about today was our babies and what's best for them. And I wanted to talk about that in relation to breaking up with their fathers and having to move forward without the father and having anger and bitterness toward him, but using the children as a weapon. Please don't use your children as a weapon against that man, because when you use the children as a weapon, you're using the children as a weapon against themselves. You are hurting your child more than you can hurt that man. Our maternal instinct is greater than the paternal instinct of a man. We carry the baby, and so we are a little bit more connected to the child, although the child comes from the man. It's their seed. So I don't understand how a man can make a baby and just walk off. We are not that fortunate, or should I say we are not capable, or maybe able most of the time, to do something like that. Sometimes it is best if the father keeps the child, raises the child, but most of the time mama is on duty alone if the home is broken. But I want to appeal to your heart to tell you, unless that man is a dangerous person, an abusive person, don't keep your child away from that father. Don't do that. When that child grows up, that child's going to be angry with you. The father's going to say, I put in every effort to be with you. Your mother gave me a hard time at every turn. You don't want your child to be able to say something like that about you, because the feelings that come with that is it's going to be permanent. I can't count how many times I've watched Paternity Court. That's one of my guilty pleasures. I love the court shows. And the man is like, I was searching for you. Your mother packed up and moved out of town, and I didn't know where y'all went. Changed her number. And a lot of times women do that. We weaponize the children against that man to hurt him. And plus, we're so hurt, we don't want to see him anymore. We want to move on, and we don't want to be bothered, because once the child is here, the father has to be in the child's life. Now you're stuck with seeing him on a regular basis when he come pick up the baby, and the wound from the pain is not healed yet, and that's a lot. Been there, done that. It's a lot. But I never thought it was okay to keep my children away from their father. Not one time did that cross my mind to do that. Now I'm going to tell you this, and I don't want to, stab at him, because we're much older now, we're much mature, we're both in a better state of mind, and we both have separate spouses now. But at the time, with his hurt, because I was very angry, and I was a mean, angry person. Like, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. So when he did come to see his daughter, the oldest one was born at the time. Excuse me, y'all. She was born at the time. I would go in the room and close the door, because I didn't want to even be bothered. I didn't want to see him. I was so hurt. Why is something itching my throat? I was so hurt. That was the extent of my anger. But I wouldn't let him, I would not let him see his child. That's not my nature. But men are more attached to us, right? My father told me this, and I thought that was kind of crazy when I was younger, that he said, I love your mother more than I love y'all. And I'm like, what? Because I thought the children should come first, but that's not the case, family. When a couple is married, you are now one unit. You are combined. Why is my throat itching? You are one unit. And so therefore, yes, your spouse should be first. And I know that sounds crazy, because children are young and they can't fend for themselves. They can't care for themselves. Together, as that one unit, we ought to be doing that for our children, right? So with men, what I discovered with my children's father, he cared more about being with me than being with his children. And so the effect of him being hurt was different from how I was affected. I didn't want to be bothered with him. He wanted to come around. When he came around, he wanted us all to be together. And if I was in a good frame of mind, I probably would have done that, because it would be nice for the child to have both the parents' company just enjoying the child together. That's a healthy situation if you're broken up. Later on, I did tell them I would like for us to go out with the girls as a family so they could just have both their parents sometimes. But that was after I healed. But, ooh, honey, in the beginning, it was very hard. But I wouldn't say, no, you can't come see your children. I could never do that. That's just never even crossed my mind. My father was something else, and my mother never said he couldn't see us. He was something else. My father was something else. But my mom never did that, so I didn't grow up like that. Even with my grandmother, my grandfather still came around. I never saw women not allowing the father of the children to not see them. So that was not a part of my life. So I never experienced that, so I didn't do that. You know, a lot of times you follow what you see. Your family do certain things, you follow suit because that's what you're accustomed to. So I was accustomed to that child still being in the father's life, the father still having a say and come around and stuff like that, even though you were not together. Now, there did come a time where he was hurt. He was licking his wounds, and he just disappeared for a while. And I had the 2 daughters by that time. I had another daughter by him. And so, my husband, my first husband. And so, he disappeared for a good while. And one day, he called. I'm like, hello? And it's so funny. I'm trying to move on. I forgot his voice. He was like, you don't even know who I am no more. He says, me. I'm like, me? How's my babies? If you were around, you would know. But anyway, at that point, because he had disappeared for a long length of time, that hurt me a lot too, because I'm like, wow, you know, that really hurt me. I wanted his presence in my daughter's life, even though we weren't together. And that hurt me. So I did give him a stipulation. I said, if you want to see your children, you're going to have to prove that to me. Let's go to family court and let's make some arrangements that you pick them up and spend time with them. And he agreed. And he came and picked us up, and we went to family court, and we figured it out. We worked it out. And then we just went from there henceforth. You know, he had his rights to his daughters for holidays and every other weekend and stuff like that. And I was fine with that because they needed their dad. I didn't have a problem with that. And I'm saying all that to say, I know your pain. I know it hurts, especially when they move on with somebody else and it look like they're happy and you go, that's crazy. I done had babies with this man. I was married to this man. He done moved on. But for me, I was cold and callous, and I didn't want to get back together. I wanted him to hurt, and I hurt myself and my daughters in the process. I want to tell y'all that too. A lot of times we are so prideful. I'm too prideful, and pride cometh before a fall. That's biblical. That's what Satan had plenty of, and he was kicked out of the kingdom for that. Not wanting to humble myself and say, I need this man. My daughters need this man. I was so ridiculous. I'm like, I don't need you. And I told him that. I don't want nothing from you. So stupid. I'm going to tell y'all how stupid I was. He came by to give money one time, and it was a wad of money. You know what my stupid self did? I told him, I don't want it. I don't want it. I think he put it on the dresser or the table. I can't remember which because it was so long ago now. I took it as he was walking down the steps. I took it and threw it down the steps, and money just rained on it. You should have saw the look on his face. We can do real damage to a man when we hurt their pride like that. This man was trying to take care of his family, even though he wasn't in the house. And my ridiculous self threw money at him. Threw the money at him. I had a good friend at the time. She said, girl, you done lost your mind. And this was my way, because he told me, I think when we broke up at one time, he said, you're going to need me. And I said, I bet you I won't. So now my foolish pride, and I was going to need him, but I didn't want him to know that. I didn't want to need him, but I had 2 children with him, so how could I not? I needed him to make them, so I needed him to care for them. So my foolish behind, let me tell you, don't be stupid. Don't let your anger and your hurt make you stupid. Be wise when it comes to your children. Put them first in every aspect. I'm telling y'all, sisters, put them first in every aspect. If that man want to care for his children, let him. He want to pick up his babies, give his babies to him. He want to give you money, take the money. It takes money to care for children. It takes money. Do not kill his spirit in effort to hurt him back. Because let me tell you something. The consequences of our actions, they come full circle. That's for everybody, including me. When we do foolish things, it comes back to haunt you. It comes back to haunt you, because throwing that money at that man, it caused me problems later on getting money from him, because I hurt him. And it caused us a lot of issues with this being prideful, and being angry. And the Bible says, be angry and sin not. Because once you start doing foolish things, you're going to reap what you sow. Do not keep your babies from their father. It is hard, ladies. I know. He was my first love, my first everything, my first boyfriend, my first, of course, sexual partner. I was a virgin when I met him. He was my everything. You know, he was my first experience with the opposite sex, period. And so and then we got married, and to have that fall apart, what? That crushed me tremendously. And I wasn't no help, because when he tried to apologize and get back with me, I was hardened. I had a fantasy of what, I'm going to tell y'all that too, because I was so young. I had a fantasy of what I thought our relationship should be like, and when it didn't measure up to that, I don't want it. Man, I was foolish. I was foolish. It's funny, because my daughters say to this day, they say, Mom, based on what y'all told me, y'all didn't have no real reason to break up. But when you're young and foolish and you make stupid choices, honey, that will, how you say it? That will, the fallout will be how your life end up. It could change the whole trajectory. That's the word, the trajectory of your life when you make a foolish decision. And I allowed us to be a statistic, you know. He wasn't blameless, but this is where forgiveness comes in. I didn't know how to forgive. I just felt like he was the perfect boyfriend, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Right? And so I always thought things would just be wonderful between us, and that we wouldn't have no issues. I was this crazy romantic person reading those little romantic novels, and I thought that's how our life should have been. And when it didn't measure up to that, I was like, oh, this is not what I want. Reality hits, honey. And everything is not going to always be hunky-dory. It's just not. And so if y'all can't work it out, I would say try your best to work it out. Don't leave your husband. Please. If he's not abusing you or abusing y'all finances, because you have some men who are gambling and going to strip clubs and doing wicked things like that, I'm not going to tell you to stay with no man like that, but I'm also not going to tell you to leave him, because that's your business. I don't tell people to leave their husbands. I feel like we should try our best. And I know I did not. And I paid the price, and so did my babies, and so did he. A broken family, we all ended up damaged from that. And so I'm telling y'all, don't be like that. I'm giving you some wisdom. I'm sharing some wisdom with you. It is not a good idea to be hateful and spiteful. You make yourself sick. You stress yourself being like that. Release it, give it to God, and be kind. Kill him with kindness. Kill him with it. Kill him with it. Kill him with it. Be kind. Once upon a time, you loved that man. And that's the thing that blows my mind about us. We are so funny. That's why I said, what is love? Because love is not a feeling. Love is how you treat somebody. How are you so in love? Ooh, baby, baby. My grandmother said that. She said, what happened to all the love? Because we were the it couple. What happened? I was like, man, all angry, bitter, terrible. Just didn't want to talk to him. Come see your kids. I'm going in the other room. I don't want to see you. Not even trying to work it out. We did get back together and broke up again. Got back together, broke up again. You know, it was ridiculous. Okay, let me make sure she come out good so I can get in. All right, y'all. But overall, the message I'm trying to give y'all is, don't let your anger and your hurt make you do foolish things to hurt yourself and your children. Put your kids first. Put your babies first. For real. Let them have the best of both worlds as much as possible. Peace, love, and blessings. I am at the bank. Got business to take care of, y'all. Y'all have a blessed weekend.